Hey, you know what I was thinking about is how I would so much rather be teaching you in person than teaching you on a video. And I was thinking about how I like teaching so much more in person because, first of all, I'm not watching my own face when I'm teaching. It's really weird to be watching myself teach. Um, and second of all, I really miss being able to look out at the kids I'm teaching and get a sense from your faces whether you're understanding what I'm talking about or not. Because if you start rolling around on the floor or whispering to the people next to you, or you just have very confused looks on your faces, then I probably am not getting my message across. And I don't know if that's happening when I'm teaching you on a video. I can't see you. And that's really a bummer. And then I also really miss teaching you in person because you often have really great ideas to add on to my own ideas. And I miss letting you talk to each other and talk to me about your thoughts. When I'm teaching a video, it's just me and I'm sending it to you, which I love, but I miss having your ideas and questions and thoughts when I'm teaching. Okay, so guess what I just did? I just told you my opinion about something and then I gave you reasons why. Think for a second to yourself. What was my opinion? What did I tell you that I believed, or what did I tell you I was feeling about something? So hopefully you were thinking, oh, she told us that she'd much rather teach us in person than teach on a video, that she likes teaching in person better than on a video. That was my opinion. And then I gave you a few different reasons why. Um, all of it was true. It is absolutely my opinion, and those are absolutely my reasons. And it was also a great way to get us started with our opinion writing lesson for today. So, we are going to start forming our opinion for our opinion essays today. And the question that we're going to be thinking about, the question that I'd like you to form an opinion about over the next couple of weeks, is this one. If you could meet Wilma Rudolph or Sonia Sotomayor, who would you choose to meet and why? So that's kind of a tough question. And we could probably just answer it right now, but our reasons might not be super strong and super well developed. So, in order to answer that question well, and to really form what's called a well informed opinion, which means you actually know what you're talking about, and you have some facts and some information behind your opinion. So, in order to answer that question well, we need to find out more about both Wilma Rudolph and Sonia Sotomayor. We need to do some research or find out more about them. So today we're going to start our research. We're going to research Wilma Rudolph by reading two short articles about her. First, I'm just going to read both of them all the way through. And then we will go back and together we'll start taking some notes about Wilma Rudolph. It's important to take notes. We want to take notes because if we don't, then we might not remember what we learn about her. We're going to be writing these essays over the course of about 3 or 4 weeks. And I don't know about you, but I have a hard time holding on to all the really important facts and details about things for that amount of time unless I've written them down. So we are going to take some notes today, which is just such an important skill to have and to develop. Okay, so let's start just by reading the essays, the articles about Wilma Rudolph. The first one is, let's scroll back up to the top. The first one is a short biography of Wilma Rudolph, and it's taken from a really wonderful book, one of my favorite books, and one of Junie's favorite books too, called Goodnight Stories for Rebel Girls. If you haven't ever read this, as soon as you get a chance, I'd highly recommend it. It's really fun. They have a podcast now too. That's great. Junie loves listening to it. Anyways, the first one we're going to read is about Wilma Rudolph, and it is 1 page long, and it's from that book. And like I said before, I'm just going to read it all the way through. So for now, you're just listening to think about what you can learn about Wilma Rudolph. Wilma Rudolph, athlete. Long ago, before the vaccine for polio was discovered, children were not protected against this terrible disease. Wilma was a little child when she contracted polio and was left with a paralyzed leg. Paralyzed means she couldn't move it. Was left with a paralyzed leg. I'm not sure she's ever going to walk again, the doctor said. You will walk again, honey, I promise, whispered Wilma's mom. Every week, her mom took Wilma to the city for treatment. Every day, her 21 brothers and sisters took turns massaging her weak leg. Wilma had to use braces to walk, and the mean kids in her neighborhood would make fun of her. Sometimes, when her parents were not home, she tried to walk without braces. It was hard, but Wilma slowly got stronger. By the time she was 9, her mom's promise came true. Wilma could walk by herself. She even started playing basketball. She loved jumping and running, so she did not think twice when her coach asked if she wanted to join the track team. Wilma competed in 20 races and won every one of them. I don't know why I run so fast, she said. I just run. Wilma became the fastest woman in the world, bringing great joy to her family and to her country. She broke 3 world records at the 1960 Olympics. Wilma always said that the key to winning was knowing how to lose. Nobody wins all the time. If you can pick up after a crushing defeat and go on to win again, you are going to be a champion someday. And then there's this really cool picture of Wilma Rudolph, illustration of Wilma Rudolph, with a quote that says, "My doctors told me I would never walk again. My mother told me I would. I believed my mother." Okay, we're going to read one more biography about her. I'm just going to read it all the way through, and then we'll go back and take some notes. And this biography says some of the same things about her. You will hear some of the information that we just learned repeated, but there are some new things to learn about her in this article also. Wilma Rudolph, star of the track. This is from a website called ReadWorks. Have you ever heard of Wilma Rudolph? Yes, you have. Have you ever heard of Wilma Rudolph? She was a great runner and a track star, but she did not have an easy path to becoming a star runner. When she was a child, Rudolph suffered from some diseases, including scarlet fever and polio. These diseases made it difficult for her to walk. Some doctors even told her she would never be able to walk again, but Rudolph would not give up so easily. She was eventually able to walk by wearing a brace on one leg. A brace is a device that supports an injured or weak body part. Wilma Rudolph kept using her leg and could finally walk without the leg brace. She quickly found her passion, sports. She loved basketball and running. In high school, Rudolph trained as a runner. It was clear she had natural talent. In 1956, she went to the Olympic Games. She won a bronze medal in a track and field event. In 1960, she competed in the Olympics again and won 3 gold medals. People called her one of the fastest women in the world. After the Olympics, that's not what I meant to do. After the Olympics, she returned home to Tennessee. There we go. After the Olympics, she returned home to Tennessee. The governor of Tennessee did not believe in integration between Black people and white people. So that means that the governor of Tennessee did not believe that Black people and white people should be able to be in the same place at the same time doing the same things together. The governor of Tennessee did not believe in integration between Black people and white people. He wanted her welcome celebration to be segregated. So that means he wanted the celebration for her when she came home to be that Black people could be in one place and white people could be in another place, but they could not celebrate together. He wanted her welcome celebration to be segregated. Rudolph refused to attend this event. That means Rudolph said she would not go to the celebration. Rudolph refused to attend this event. She paved the way for equality in sports. People remember Rudolph as an elegant, kind person. She helped those around her and created a charitable organization. This organization helped train young athletes. In 1977, people made a movie about Rudolph's story. Today, people continue to be inspired by her story. Okay, so those are the 2 articles. What we are going to do now is take some notes about these articles so we can remember the important things about Wilma Rudolph. So if you need to, go ahead and pause the video and get yourself a piece of paper and something to write with, or the note-taking sheet that's available on Schoology. If you can take notes on that, if you're able to print it out and take notes on it while you're watching the video. If you're not able to do that, if you can't print it out, we don't have a printer at my house, so I completely understand. Then just get yourself a blank piece of paper and restart the video when you're ready. Okay, so if you have the note-taking sheet, then it looks like this. If you do not have the note-taking sheet printed out, then you can just take a piece of paper and write the things that are on the note-taking sheet onto the piece of paper. The important parts to really get in there is a space for things Wilma Rudolph did, ways to describe Wilma Rudolph, and then other notes. Those are the three categories that we'll be taking notes about for Wilma Rudolph. Okay, now here's a quick explanation of how this is going to work. I'm going to reread the two articles to you, and I'm going to stop every once in a while and have us take notes. The first two times that I stop, I'll kind of share with you what I think we should take notes on. And you can just take the same notes that I do to get an idea for what some good notes might be. Then I'm going to stop telling you what I think you should take notes on. And instead, I'm going to just stop every once in a while and say, this would be a good place to stop and take some notes. What might you write for things Wilma Rudolph did? What might you write for ways to describe Wilma Rudolph? And what might you write for other notes? And at that point, you should pause the video and you can reread back over the part that I read to you and take some notes of your own. If I were you, I would do this next part over probably 2 or 3 days because it will probably take you about 40 minutes to take all the notes that you need to be able to take. And I don't know if I'd be able to focus for that long in just one day. So you can if you want to, but it's also fine if you take notes for about 10 minutes and then you stop the video and then you restart it again tomorrow and keep taking notes. The note sheet is due to me by Friday. So I would like your notes by Friday. So that's how long you have to take the notes that you need. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm going to start reading the first biography again. And every once in a while, I will stop and we'll talk about what notes that we should take. And I'm remembering that I want to take notes about things Wilma Rudolph did, ways to describe Wilma Rudolph, and then just other notes. Okay, I'm going to move my face again. All right, here we go. Wilma Rudolph athletes from the first biography. Long ago, before the vaccine for polio was discovered, children were not protected against this terrible disease. Wilma was a little child when she contracted polio and was left with a paralyzed leg. I'm not sure she's ever going to walk again, the doctor said. You will walk again, honey, I promise, whispered Wilma's mom. Every week, her mom took Wilma to the city for treatment. Every day, her 21 brothers and sisters took turns massaging her weak leg. Wilma had to use braces to walk, and the mean kids in her neighborhood would make fun of her. Sometimes, when her parents were not home, she tried to walk without braces. It was hard, but Wilma slowly got stronger. By the time she was 9, her mom's promise came true. Wilma could walk by herself. She even started playing basketball. Okay, so let's pause there and let's think about what we might write down in our notes. What are some things that we found out that Wilma Rudolph did in the part we just read? Just stop and think for a minute. Okay, so I was thinking a really important thing that we learned that Wilma Rudolph did here is that she didn't give up once she got polio, right? She got treatment and she kept trying to walk and practicing walking until eventually she learned how to walk again. And she even played basketball. So I'm going to write Wilma, And if you're handwriting this, that's fine. I'm just typing because it's easier to do while I'm videotaping the lesson. Another reason why teaching in person is better for me. Okay, so Wilma Rudolph got polio and her leg couldn't move, but she got help and she kept practicing walking, and after a while she could walk again. Okay, so that's what I wrote down. Go ahead and pause the video if you want. You can write down the same exact thing that I wrote down if you agree with me, or you can make the words slightly different if you have a different way of saying it. So go ahead and pause and then restart the video when you're ready for us to talk about what the next note might be. Okay. So then the next part is ways to describe Wilma Rudolph. That means, like, if we were to talk about Wilma Rudolph to somebody else, what words might we use? What words might we use to say what she's like? So in the part we just read, I'm thinking that we could say she was determined. And the reason I think that is because she didn't give up when she got polio. She didn't listen to what the doctors said. She kept working hard until she was able to walk again. The last part says other notes. So if there's anything else that you think that is important to remember about Wilma Rudolph, this would be the place to write that down. So I'm thinking maybe something that's important to know is that she had 21 brothers and sisters. I'm going to look back at the article again. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking that mean kids in her neighborhood would make fun of her. That's kind of important to remember. Okay. So take a moment, just pause the video, write down those things if you agree with me, write down a couple of other things if you think there are some more things that are important to remember. And I'm actually going to stay with my notes so that you can write those down if you need to, but you can look back at the article. It's available on the Schoology page if you want to look back over this part right now. And restart the video when you're ready. Okay, sorry about that. I had a weird pause in my video also because I was trying to figure out how to pause myself recording. Okay, so now I'm going to read a little bit more and then I'm going to stop and we'll take some notes together again. I'm going to go back to the article. All right, here we go. Wilma could walk by herself. She even started playing basketball. She loved jumping and running, so she did not think twice when her coach asked if she wanted to join the track team. Wilma competed in 20 races and won every one of them. I don't know why I run so fast, she said. I just run. Wilma became the fastest woman in the world, bringing great joy to her family and to her country. She broke 3 world records at the 1960 Olympics. Wilma always said that the key to winning was knowing how to lose. Nobody wins all the time. If you can pick up after a crushing defeat and go on to win again, you are going to be a champion someday. Okay, so now let's pause again. It's the end of this first biography, and let's go back to our note-taking sheet. And just stop and think for a moment in your head, what are some things that we just learned that Wilma Rudolph did? Okay, and so what I'm thinking is we learned, I'm going to go back to the article to make sure I know the right words for it. She joined the track team, which is for running and jumping, so that's pretty amazing. And then also, she became the fastest woman in the world. She broke 3 world records at the 1960 Olympics. So in my note-taking sheet, I'm going to write she joined the track team. And then as another note, I'm going to write she became the fastest in the world. And then another note, she broke 3 world records at the 1960 Olympics. Okay, so if you need to pause the video so that you can take some notes about what Wilma Rudolph did that we just learned about, this would be a good time to do that. And then start it back up again when you're ready. Okay, and then the next thing we want to think about are what are some other ways that we could describe Wilma Rudolph? I'm definitely thinking she's still determined because she didn't give up. She kept running and running until she became the fastest woman. I was also thinking a way to describe Wilma Rudolph is that I'm trying to think of the right word for it. It's almost like she's hardworking, right? She knows that winning doesn't come easy. If you're going to be a winner, you really have to work at it and not just give up when you lose. So I'm going to say another way to describe Wilma Rudolph is hardworking. You might have a different word to put there. That's fine too. If you agree with hardworking, you can write that one down. And then some other notes. I'm going to scan back over the article here. She won 20 races for their track team. Oh, this part, she brought great joy to her family and her country. That might be important to note. So brought great joy to her family and country. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. Catch up with any notes that you need to take, and then restart the video when you're ready. This might also be a good time to pause and stop for today, and then pick the lesson back up tomorrow if you want to do that. Okay, so welcome back. Whether you just paused or whether you're here on a whole other day. What we just finished doing was taking notes about Wilma Rudolph from the first biography that we had about her. What I'm going to do now is read the second biography, and this time I will pause and suggest that you take some notes at certain parts, but I'm not going to take the notes with you this time. I'm going to leave it up to you to decide what to write down for this article. Okay, here we go. Wilma Rudolph, Star of the Track by Caitlin Mager. Have you heard of Wilma Rudolph? She was a great runner and a track star, but she did not have an easy path to becoming a star runner. When she was a child, Rudolph suffered from some diseases, including scarlet fever and polio. These diseases made it difficult for her to walk. Some doctors even told her she would never be able to walk again, but Rudolph would not give up so easily. She was eventually able to walk by wearing a brace on one leg. A brace is a device that supports an injured or weak body part. Wilma Rudolph kept using her leg and could finally walk without the leg brace. She quickly found her passion, sports. She loved basketball and running. In high school, Rudolph trained as a runner. It was clear she had natural talent. In 1956, she went to the Olympic Games. She won a bronze medal in a track and field event. In 1960, she competed in the Olympics again and won 3 gold medals. People called her one of the fastest women in the world. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to recommend that you go to your note-taking sheet and see if there's anything new that you learned about what Wilma Rudolph did, or new ways to describe Wilma Rudolph, or any other new notes that you would like to add. And then go ahead and restart the video when you're ready. Okay, so I'm going to keep reading. Here we go. After the Olympics, she returned home to Tennessee. The governor of Tennessee did not believe in integration between Black people and white people. He wanted her welcome celebration to be segregated. Rudolph refused to attend this event. She paved the way for equality in sports. So I'm going to stop again here. This would be a good place to take some more notes about what Wilma Rudolph did, ways to describe her, and other notes. So go ahead and pause and take some notes, and then restart the video when you're ready. Okay, last paragraph. People remember Rudolph as an elegant, kind person. She helped those around her and created a charitable organization. A charitable organization is an organization that raises money for some kind of cause. So she helped those around her and created a charitable organization. This organization helped train young athletes. In 1977, people made a movie about Rudolph's story. Today, people continue to be inspired by her story. Okay, so that's the last place where you should stop and take a few more notes. And then when you're finished with those notes, please send them to me through the Wilma Rudolph note-taking sheet assignment page in the Submit Your Work Here folder by Friday of this week. And of course, as usual, email me if you have any questions. Hold onto your notes. Don't lose them. Put them in a safe place because we will use them along with notes that we take about Sonia Sotomayor next week to help write our opinion essay later on. So these are really important. You want to hold on to them just like you did with your animal report notes. Okay, thanks so much. This is a long lesson. So thanks for sticking with me, whether you did it in one day or over the course of 4 days. It's such an important skill to have, and this is such an important person to be learning about. Okay, see you later, guys. Thanks.